Please give a big hand to professional Kevin Smith.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Young Artist Academy Awards. You made it, everybody! And since I don't believe in awards, I talked to the Young Artist Academy, and we're giving everyone a trophy this year. Kids, this is so special. I'm so happy to be with you, but I'll be honest with you, when they said, hey, do you want to come intro and host and stuff? I was like, oh yeah, and I thought I was doing them a solid. Like, I live up the street. I was like, oh, the DGA's closed. I can roll down there and stuff. Then I came in and I literally saw famous people, man. Like, there are people that are in shows and commercials that I've seen, and I've been in the business 30 years, but I'm still shallow enough to be like, that person's famous, you know? So I'm glad they put the lights down, because like, I honestly would stumble over my words if I was like, you're that kid from that show I watched last night and stuff like that. It's really thrilling for me to be in a room full of famous people, man. I've worked with famous people in my life, don't get me wrong, but like, you guys are at an exceptional level. To put it in the parlance that I'll use on set with my actors, I was looking for Affleck, y'all gave me Damon, kids. So congratulations, thanks for being here. If you're like, who is this guy, and the video didn't do it for you, I used to make movies like a million years ago, and you've never seen them if you've got good parents. And but you know, I am the filmmaker who your dad saw his movies when he was in high school at a cousin or friend's house with very permissive parents and stuff. But more importantly, I'm like y'all, man. I was a kid. I was thinking about it as I was driving over here. Saturday night, man, a billion years ago. Let's go back. Let me see. I'm 54. I'm gonna be 55. So let's say 42 years ago. I'm where you guys are right now. It's a Saturday night. We're having a play up at the school, and I was like a real drama nerd and stuff. And so, like, my whole life centered around that end of the year show. And going on a Saturday night and being nervous as hell, looking out and seeing people who I loved, who supported me, you know, even people that hated my guts, so I could be like, I'm here and you're not, and rub it in their faces and stuff, was thrilling. And it was a bug that bit me that I've been kind of carrying my whole life. Like you, I figured out at an early age that I just wanted to make pretend for the rest of my life, man. That was the best way to go about this best of all possible worlds, is to play as much as one can. And I could never understand why it was so much fun when we were kids, and then they expected us at a certain point to grow up. You haven't hit this point yet, and hopefully you never will, because you're a room full of artists, but civilization, society, your parents, decorum, whatever, dictates sooner or later that you hear somebody say, yeah, but what are you really gonna do? Do you have a real job? Did you set aside, you know, what's your real plan and stuff? Never had a real plan. I didn't know that I would do what I wound up doing, but I loved movies and I loved television. Nobody ever sat next to me and said, oh, you could do this. It just seemed like it was stuff that was done in a far different place. But I gravitated toward it my whole life through sheer passion. And then nobody was gonna give me a role or cast me or anything like that. So I kind of made my own opportunity and made a movie and put all my friends in it, and that's how I got started. So I've been doing that for 30 years. Best piece of advice I could give you is make movies with the people you love. You'll never regret it. And you'll get to see pictures of you guys growing up for the rest of your life. And here's something I always impart to artists burgeoning or accomplished, or people who are my age who dreamed about doing a thing and then kind of life got in the way and whatnot. You know, we all have people that count on us. And sometimes the most noble people in this world put aside their dreams to help you accomplish yours, man. There's no greater honor that somebody could give you than to dedicate their life to you and to what you dream and stuff. I didn't have that. I had parents that liked me and stuff, but like we didn't live in a world where they were like, oh, you could, you know, be in the arts, you could be on TV or movies. Like, you know, it was akin to me going like, I'd like to be an astronaut. They're like, yeah, sure, one day and stuff. But eventually I wound up there, man, in that world that like I always was kind of on the outside of. And that was because I did it myself and then invited people to the party. So I'm going to tell you like I tell my own kid. She's a 26-year-old young actor as well. She just turned 26 and whatnot. And I've been watching her audition her whole life. I've cast her and stuff. So yeah, she's a nepo baby. But I've seen her, go to self-tape, do self-tapes, go to auditions constantly and whatnot. And I tell her, like, I get it. I understand why you do it because it feels amazing to be chosen. Just like all you tonight were chosen out of other folks, people just highlighting you and saying, hey, man, you got something special. So I understand that. Lord knows we all love to be chosen. Unfortunately, there's not always a choice that's going to be made in our favor. We won't always get chosen. And in this business, as we all know, oftentimes the answer is no. So I'm going to tell you like I tell my kid, man, who I love more than anything in this world, and I love because she gravitated toward the arts as well. She didn't even go to college. She saved me a lot of money and just became an actor. But I'm going to tell you like I tell her, you can you can wait around for somebody to pick you, and when they do, it feels good. But don't wait your whole life to be picked. Pick yourself. You're all you're all artists, which means, and no artist can spin one plate anymore. When I was a kid, you could be one thing. You could be an actor, and that's it. As we all know, that's not the case anymore. And lots of people build entire followings, not in their chosen art form, but by social media alone. You kids have to spin way more plates coming up than any kids working in the business ever had to for the last 5 generations or something like that. You're facing different obstacles than they ever did. There's a lot more work at the same time, but less opportunity, particularly locally. So please, uh, aggregate as much information you can on other people's sets and collect your paycheck and whatnot, get experience. All that's important and feel great when you're chosen. But while you're sitting behind all these directors, and I'm one of those directors, and so I say this knowing this, as you sit behind all these directors, slowly understand, slowly comprehend there's no difference between you and that person in charge. And that one day you can be in charge. And when you're in charge of the storytelling, you can cast yourself in any part you want. If you write the script, you're absolutely in charge. I come from a world of independent film, and that world doesn't really exist anymore like it did in the 90s. But it's coming back because options are limited on the studio side and on the Netflix side. And so kids are starting to understand that they're going to have to float their own boats. So I implore you, everything you learn here with the Young Artist Academy folks, and everything you learn on any set you're lucky enough to get to work on, just sit there and absorb it all in. Don't gossip, stay off your phone, just watch and demystify this process and know that you are the future of it. You know who they don't hire anymore? Me. Like when I go over the hill, I tell them the same variation of story I've been telling for 3 decades. I walk in, I don't have to say anything. They're like, we get it, Clerks 9, or something like that. You know who they're waiting for? You. They dream of you, man, and not in that lascivious way. I'm talking they dream about the young filmmaker, the young storyteller, the young artist who's going to walk through the door and tell them the story they've never heard before and show them the talent they've never seen before. You're who they dream about. They don't dream about making sequels and remakes and casting the same people over and over again. You know what's more exciting than casting Tom Hanks in a zillionth movie? Casting somebody new who hasn't been exposed to the world. And that's what all of those people, I assure you, dream about, man. They're waiting for you to walk through those doors and say something new to them, tell them a new story that's never been told before. Number one, it's thrilling for them. Number two, it'll ensure their jobs and they'll make money off you and stuff. So use the time you spend as a young artist aggregating information and understanding your power. One of the weirdest, most powerful pieces of literature I ever saw in my life, oddly enough, came off. My wife tried to turn the library into a yoga room once. That didn't work. But she had this wall hanging on it, and it had the Buddha on it, and had some words in it, and I never looked at them until she moved it out of that room, and it was downstairs near the garage. And one day, I was waiting to go outside, and I had time to look at it and actually read it. And it says something so profound. It said, "May you realize your true divinity in this lifetime." Like, I can't wish anything better for y'all than that. Understand that you are in charge and that your voice is your currency. Like everybody here has an individual voice, separate from everyone else, that tells a completely different tale than the person sitting next to you. We're all part of the human condition, so we can all relate to a human experience, but all of our human experiences are so unbelievably unique. Years ago, there was a term that a lot of people bastardized, but I still use it because I think it makes sense. You're all a bunch of snowflakes in the best possible way. You're all so uniquely different, and all of you are content generators, storytellers at heart. You've gravitated toward that world, man. So don't stop and be content with somebody telling you you could play this role or that role. You have a voice that you get to bring to the party, and that voice is unique, man. It can be spent. It's valuable. Sometimes when new artists want to make something, they make something that looks familiar to something somebody else has done in the past, because there's always success by virtue of doing something that has succeeded before. Maybe. Yeah, you could do that and it could work out. But you could be the person that goes in and says the thing that nobody's ever said before, and you're the only person who could do it. They're never going to hear it from me. They're never going to hear it from my peers and whatnot. We tell the same similar stories over and over. You guys, you control the future. You have everything it takes right now to save this business that everyone keeps talking about is dying. Here's a little secret. It's not. It's not. As long as you can walk into a room like this and see this many people holding up the future of the arts. I salute you, young artists.